Hi, I'm Jared Revel from Revolution Mixed Martial Arts and Fitness here in Langley, BC. Here at Revolution Mixed Martial Arts, we're kind of a home to a family fitness center as well as a martial arts studio. We teach ages 3 to 70. We have tons of kids programs that are flourishing, about 180 kids in our programs. And then we have adults from kickboxing, boxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, MMA, all beginner friendly and up to advanced, right, with pro fighters and other avenues. There are so many benefits involved in martial arts. For me, I was always so focused on the physical aspect of wanting to be the best, or learning moves and to protect myself and those things. But so much more is involved, with dedication to your sport, having to show up, having to practice and put forth effort into learning something new, and be kind of vulnerable to not understanding things and being new to a scene where you know nothing about, right? And it definitely brings about a community atmosphere. Like, the people in a martial arts gym are always super friendly, outgoing, and it's almost like an automatic trust you have with the person, which you don't always find that in daily life. Whereas martial arts, you always have to trust somebody blindly that they're not going to hurt you, right? So you're going to give the same type of trust to somebody else because you don't want to be hurt, and vice versa. So there's so much more involved. A big focus for us with mainly our kids, and our adults and the women, is that we teach self-confidence through self-defense. I started this journey, about 13 years ago in martial arts, just as more of a hobby, something to do. Through that, I ended up trying one jiu-jitsu tournament, and I kind of fell in love with the competitive aspect of it. Probably because I'm a competitive person at nature, and kind of just steamrolled from there. I've been competing in jiu-jitsu for many years now, and just transitioned into MMA in my later years. I never thought I was going to be somebody to teach the martial arts, and kind of just was more focused on my, on me being the best, right? And through it, I realized like the bigger part of the journey, even though like I've had great success in my MMA career. I'm currently the BFL Pro Middleweight Champion. But through that, like the whole evolution of me wanting to be the best, I kind of realized, and I got put into a position where now I teach hundreds of students from kids to adults. I realized that there's so much more, and the dedication I have to learning my craft, the discipline I have, and eventually the service that I give, right, by giving back something that I've learned and has helped me so much in my life. I realized that's kind of my end success story, is being able to share what I've learned to other people and give them kind of the strategies that I've learned, and how it's evolved and helped my life a lot. Going through MMA for sure, and jiu-jitsu, I've had many highs and lows. I think that's part of the game, being able to put yourself in a position where you have the opportunity to win something great. You also have the opportunity to lose, right? And it can be devastating. At the same time, as I also believe that those highs wouldn't be as good without those lows. You hear that lots, but it definitely rings true when you're actually in it. I've been fortunate enough, in jiu-jitsu, I've competed tons locally. I've also competed internationally, been very successful in both. I've got to compete against some of the best in the world in jiu-jitsu on the highest stage as a black belt. So it's pretty a cool feat. I haven't quite got that illustrious world championship that I'd love to have. As far as MMA, I'm continuing to evolve. The goal is to obviously keep going to the highest level I can, right? I've captured an amateur title. I've had devastating losses, where I thought maybe this wasn't for me, and been able to with the people around me and the community that I have, pick myself up and recommit myself, and now I'm 9-2 as a professional mixed martial artist, and I recently won and defended the Battlefield middleweight title. So that's definitely one of my greatest achievements, as a pro athlete, and I look to continue my strive for greatness there. When it comes to my nickname, the Rebel, it's actually a pretty good story. Way back when I was the amateur champion, I didn't really have a nickname, and one of my friends called me and said, "Hey," he's like, "I need you to call the Bro Jake show and win me some Soundgarden tickets." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, you need somebody famous to call in for you." And I was like, "I'm not famous, bro." I was like, "I'm an amateur champion in BC." And he's like, "No, please do it." So I called in for him just to call in, right? And I went through, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna put you on air next, and we're just talking to George Stradlopoulos, I believe his name is. Can't quite pronounce that, but I'm like, well, I'm definitely not that type of level, right?" And so I get on, and I'm chatting, and I'm like, my friend told me to call in. He said that he wanted to win some Soundgarden tickets, and we got to talking, and just talking about my career and just where it went from that point. And I'd been pretty successful as an amateur, and I was the champion. And he goes, "Oh, what's your nickname?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't really have one." And then just on the spot there, he goes, "From this day forward, your name's Jared the Rebel Revel." And it just, I was like, oh, I thought that was pretty good on the spot. And I thought it was, it rang pretty well. And from that day forward, it's just been Jared the Rebel Revel. As far as rituals go for fights, I'm pretty laid back. I keep my diet pretty maintained, throughout everything, even when I'm out of camp. I'm pretty regimented, so it's not that hard and difficult, for me as I've gotten older and progressed as an athlete. I'd say like some of the rituals I have, I relax on the week of, making sure I'm getting lots of recovery and kind of building myself up. I'm not a video gamer, but during fight week, for some reason I do video game it, just kind of take my mind off things, and the whole drinking lots of water and not eating as much. I do video game. That's one thing, that's a guilty pleasure for sure on fight week. I do have a system that I never play other than that, but during that week I do game it. So as far as events coming up for the Revolution team, in November, I believe it's the first 2 Wednesdays of November. The first one's the 6th, the next might be the 13th. We're doing a free women's self-defense program for anybody that wants to join. You can register online. Or call in and register. We've done many of these in the past and been very successful. Sometimes we've had up to 120 women, in the gym at once. And our goal is just to kind of share our knowledge with the community in a way that makes them feel a part of. It obviously gets us into the community in a bright light, and we're doing something that benefits many people, and go from there. We also have the Anthony Moore Legacy Fund. It's a program put on by one of our members that had passed, years ago, and we just realized he was so into martial arts and yoga. So what we've done is we've created a charity that helps people that maybe families that can't afford to do martial arts. We will sponsor somebody for a full year in that, so they can do that. So one of the fundraising activities we're going to do is a tournament on November 24th. It's a jiu-jitsu tournament for kids and adults. All proceeds obviously go to an amazing cause where we're giving back to the community that we're actually competing in, right? The jiu-jitsu community. So that's really exciting, and I'm really excited for what's to come in that. As far as my professional career, I want to just give it a last go in this last few years in my kind of professional fighting. I think I'll compete in jiu-jitsu for years to come, until I am old and gray. I think that's just something in my nature. As far as MMA, I'm going to continue to try and fight at the highest level. I'm looking for a big fight coming up here soon. And as far as that goes, like after that, like I obviously have something established as my, Revolution gym, which is, got about 650 members. And it just keeps growing, and that's something I'm going to really focus on as well, and I continue to focus on.